I think for one thing, I think PDM had a dual approach. They had a political approach and a legal approach. As far as the political approach was concerned, it was very clear that they wanted to undermine the authority of this bench, and they went ahead and did that in a joint statement and otherwise. And I think that's been building up now for a while, and the gloves have been taken off just recently. So they were very clear on undermining the authority of this bench politically. Legally, on the other hand, the Attorney General who represents the federal government, which is PDM's government, couldn't just boycott the proceedings, and which they did not. They did make an appearance. They did try to argue their point of view, because it's not open to the government through the Attorney General or otherwise to boycott Supreme Court proceedings, because they are obligated under the Constitution as the government to assist the Supreme Court in legal proceedings. So I think that they want whatever decision that does come about to be controversial. I think that they've done enough politically to sort of box this into that very controversial corner. Having said that, I think that their arguments and everything else will be part of the record. They haven't assisted the courts like they would want to, and I think that they have gone out of their way to impress upon the public through media and otherwise that this is a biased bench and they have no confidence in these three judges in particular. And I think they want to take advantage of the fact that as soon as the order or the judgment does come about, which is tomorrow, they would want to appeal that pursuant to the new legislation, which will be enacted soon enough, whether the president signs it or not. It's another story if in the meantime the president sends a reference to the Supreme Court for an advisory opinion on whether this is constitutional, and it's another story if it does get enacted and PTI goes to the Lahore High Court and gets suspended. But in any other event, if it does become law, it will provide for an appeal for tomorrow's order to be appealed. This is now assuming that tomorrow's order will not be to the liking of the federal government. I think Imran Khan has benefited and has stuck by his narrative that all of these people are corrupt and they're not worth talking to, and they are what's wrong with Pakistan, and this is what we need the change to come at the expense of. So he's been very clear about that, and I don't see him backtracking from it, which is why he wouldn't personally make any appearance or have any optics to do with being seen with who he calls thieves, and it is based on that narrative that he's built his entire politics really. So I don't see Imran Khan being part of any negotiations. I think that he wouldn't mind backdoor channel this, but I don't see time agreeing to such. I think they want to box Imran now into the corner, make sure that he gets convicted and arrested and is not part of the elections, not on the ballot, and certainly not campaigning. So I think that they have completely divergent, polarized views, and I think that, as Rana Sanaullah said, that I don't think one foresees both surviving. I think they both want to survive to the exclusion of the other, and this is the problem, especially with Imran Khan, based on what he did when he was last Prime Minister, that there is such apprehension about what he would do if he came back into power, which is also forming one of the main reasons why he's being resisted so vociferously, because PMLN doesn't just see losing power or political power or government. They see them being victimized. They see them being thrown into jails. Maybe there are people in the establishment that feel like their tenures are going to be compromised. So Imran Khan, if he wants to come back into power, he's going to have to ease these tensions. This animosity, easing back into just adversarial politics, this enmity. And that's how democracies die. When you think that either you're going to be in the PM house or you're going to be jailed, that's when you start compromising on all democratic principles and principles, period. We lawyers aren't meant to have interest in the subject matter for which we advocate, because if I had millions of dollars as interest in the subject matter that I argue for, I'm less likely to adhere to rules and regulations. And in much the same way, I think the stakes at this point for the political parties involved are much higher than they should be in a democracy, and which is why democracy is suffering. I think that we are headed towards a constitutional, societal and economic meltdown, a breakdown, I think our social fabric is very polarized and broken. I think our economy is definitely on the brink, and I think our politics and our constitution is in trouble. And it's because of this polarized atmosphere that is pushing parties to a corner where they feel like they're fighting for survival. And I think everyone needs to take a step back and try and find a way to talk, which will lead to electoral reforms, judicial reforms, and somewhat of an agreement about how the election should happen. Because free and fair elections this time round for the country are particularly important. I think that might entail Nawaz Sharif becoming eligible again. It might entail certain other things that make the playing field level. Imran Khan still will be part of the mix. But either way, both parties need to understand that no matter who wins, it's not going to look like the other one goes to jail, because that is not democracy. And I don't think those should be the stakes. The stakes should be that whichever party has the better manifesto, the better ideas about people's problems, should be able to put that before the people, and the people can then decide which party to choose from. But in this case, this has really become more about the parties themselves and the politicians and their survival, and much less about people's problems, which is what it should be about.